Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Dallas Stars franchise mode here in NHL 20. So, in last episode, we had free agency and we started up the 2029-2030 season. And as you can see so far, we're doing all right, 18, 14, 5, and 1, which has a second place in our division, and also like only 3 points above of the team that's kind of trying to get into the playoffs. Like at the moment in our division, like we have a huge gap between us and the Blackhawks, but it's the Pacific Division right now that we have to worry about because the Cosmonauts and the Flames and the Sharks are all within striking distance. Well, the Blackhawks, Maple Leafs, and Blues are all struggling this season for our division. Also, our first line has been contributing really well to our offense, so they've been really good, but the other lines have been okay. Like, I'll show you guys some of the point stats right now. Our second line's been okay. So here's our first line stats. As you can see, plus 19, plus 20, plus 15. So really good first line. Second line's been all right. Like Medano's been good, but Clancy and Lundell have been kind of understimulating in terms of defensive play. Like they're both plus 2 and plus 1 only. Lundell, I think, is on the penalty kills, so that could be the reason why. And then the third line's been really bad in terms of plus minus. So we did make up a change. So I did put Ewan down to the fourth line. He was on the third line in last episode, and I put House there instead. So we're going to just see if that little flip helps out the defense a bit. As for defensemen, our defensemen have been pretty good. Most of them aren't that badly minus. Like some are like -4 only. So I have no problem with them so far. And in our goaltending, the Nabokov has been really good this season. This is like his best season so far for sure. Hopefully he can continue that the rest of the year. But Simic has been not necessarily the greatest. Nabokov was injured in last episode a bit. And as you can see, Simic has just got like a 3 goals against average and a 902 save percentage, but he still has 2 shutouts. He's just been really struggling, it seems like. Career-wise, he's not that good of a goaltender, so if we want to, we might upgrade him at the trade deadline just because that may give us a better shot at winning in case Nabokov goes down, and our depth guys haven't really played yet, except for Taves. Okay, anyways, let's get more of this season simulated. I'm not going to make any trades just yet, even though I did show you guys the trading block in last episode. There was one goalie I was looking at from the Ottawa Senators, but I'm not 100% sure if I still want to go for him or not. I'm going to probably wait till the trade deadline to see if there's any moves to make because I would rather weigh my options a bit more. Okay, so let's go to the 31st of January, see how we do in January. Hopefully we can win some games, and this team could definitely clinch a playoff spot like by March or something. 4-3 loss to LA, that's not good. Not a good way to start off the episode. Game against Hartford coming up in Hartford. We should be able to beat them, I think, unless they're doing good yet. 3-1 loss, goddammit. I think we were on a losing streak to start last episode, and we're start losing again, which is not good. We beat St. Louis, which is what we should have done because they were the bottom of the division. 4-0 win. 4-2 win. Okay, now we're starting to win some games again. I mean, if we go back and forth again, like what we did like for the first half of the season where we won like a couple games, lose a couple games, that might not be the worst option. So our first for Juha Yolonen in the third, no thank you. He has way too much term. We lose to the Jets and we lose to the Rangers. Yeah, this team is kind of struggling still. Let's just stop the simulation for a second again. Yeah, there's another loss. We're still in the wild card spot, but this team has been dropping the ball lately. So we got 45 points, which is still 8 points more than the Blackhawks, so that's fine. And then in that division, the Moose are tied with us in points, and the Cosmonauts are right there, and the Sharks are right there. So yeah, we definitely have to watch out for the Pacific teams this year. I might want to make some trade, but I don't know if there's anything still available or not on a block that would help us out, because I don't really want to bring in any forwards because of our young guys that we have. But I could upgrade somebody from like maybe upgrade House because House was only like a 79 and he wasn't even drafted by me either. Oh, that is Joe Newendike. Joe Newendike's too old. He's still putting up points. 36 points as a 78 overall. That's pretty good. But I don't know if bringing in Joe Newendike would get us a cup like it did in 1999 for the Dallas Stars or not. Matthew Schneider's got 2 years. All these guys have 2 years. I'd prefer somebody with 1 year. Bill Holder's not a bad option, but 15 points, but a minus 22. New Jersey might be struggling though. Anybody else that could help us out? Brian Leach. Oh yeah, I was saying Brian Leach could be interesting. He definitely would give us the offensive bit, but he doesn't fit our system at all, which really sucks because he would be a pretty good fit to bring in terms of offense. Like he would help out our power play a lot. Sokolov, how's this guy doing still? 6-1. It's a good record, but I don't know if it's just the team he's playing for or not. Like at the moment, there doesn't seem to be still anything that could help us out really. Keith Jones, maybe that wouldn't be a bad option for the third line. Maybe. That might not be that bad. Bringing Keith Jones and then get rid of Howes, and then we have a bit of an older guy in the lineup in that sense, but we have somebody that's more veteran. Like, how's his points been over the last few seasons? Like, he's had some really good years, but he's definitely on the down decline for this year. He's probably getting way less ice time now. Yeah, he's getting 5 minutes less ice time, so, you know, that might not be a bad option. Does he fit our system? He might fit our second line. That's the only problem, is we don't know if a lot of these guys fit our team or not. Zelepukin as well might not be that bad, but he's a left winger. Fits bottom 6 lines and penalty kill lines. That one might not be that bad either. He is struggling defensively because he's in Tampa Bay though. He has a bit of trade value, too much trade value though, I think. Darren Turcotte's been good as well, but he's more of a fourth liner. Carlotti. Yeah, I honestly don't know what we want to trade for, if we want to trade for anything or not. We were just getting offered Dallas Drake, I think. He has been really good for the Canucks, actually. He's point per game, but he is on the power play unit there. Does he fit our system? He fits our top 6 lines. And that's it. Wow, he actually might not be a bad option to bring in. Canucks have some interesting options. Martin Zelenoff fits the first line, but I don't want to have him on the first line. And Sergei Brylin, our former player, fits only forward line 1. I think I might actually try and trade for Dallas Drake. It'd be kind of funny to bring him in since we're the Dallas Stars. And Dale Craigwell doesn't fit anything. Yeah, so I think I'm going to try and trade for Dallas Drake, because he fits our, our top 6 lines. We could slot him in somewhere. Where does he fit? Yeah, top 6 forward lines. So we could definitely move somebody down on the right wing. Like I could put, Clancy on the third line. And then I could put somebody else on the fourth line and put Drake on the second line. So I think I'm going to trade Howes in this deal, because Howes is the odd man out in this point. So he's that our third line guy. Let's just see, sort by overall. Yeah, Howes is probably the odd man out. They do want some of our prospects though, that's the only problem. They don't really want Howes. I mean, Jacobs might not pan out. He's 23 years old, so we could, we're going to throw Jacobs into this deal. And then just to get rid of the roster player, we are going to give we're going to give them Howes in this deal still as well. I don't know how that is trade value wise. They have more than 45 skaters, so we'd have to take back another skater for the AHL. Somebody with a low trade value. Let's go all skaters. Or do they have a backup goalie they're not using? Maybe we could get one of their backups. Not really. Okay, so we're going to have to take back somebody with very, very low trade value. So let's sort by trade value. And Shane Corson. I guess we could bring in Shane Corson as like a depth option as well. For just the 1 year. Very physical player. And I want to give him up too. So we could throw Shane Corson into this deal. And that should go through, I hope. Oh, I didn't want to get in Vorobiev into this deal. I wanted to get in Howes. I don't know how I put in Vorobiev, because I thought I put in Howes. Oh, Howes is top. So Jacobs and Howes for Drake and Corson will work. Yes, it will. And okay, let's go to this. And that's a pretty decent deal. Let's go to roster moves. And we're going to send down... Who is it we're going to send down? Because I think I might use Corson as depth instead of somebody else. Who doesn't go through waivers? Ewan doesn't go through waivers, but he's good, I think. I'm going to send down Vorobiev since he was a depth option as well. Hopefully he doesn't get claimed, and he does get claimed by the New Jersey Devils. Oh well. I think Shane Corson could be a potential upgrade for us. And he actually used to play for the Dallas Stars at one point, so we're kind of making some moves that are real. So now I'm just going to quickly edit the lines, guys, and I'll see you back in a second. Okay, guys, so I got our line set up. So the line stayed the same except for Drake's now on the second line with Lindell and Medano. And then the other Drake, our young guy, is playing with Franzen and Clancy, which has a +3 overall boost, so that should be a pretty good line now. And fourth line has a +1 chemistry boost. And then defense has stayed the same, and our depth options are Corson and Turdina now. Okay, so some interesting moves. Hopefully Dallas Drake helps us out. AHL wise, let's just quickly put in, who do we want to put in? Oh, it sent down Taves, I just realized. Oh well, doesn't really matter if Taves got sent down. Let's just go best lines down there in the minors. And there you go. Okay, so hopefully with the addition of Dallas Drake, we can start winning some games, because that's definitely going to give us a bit of a boost, because he was doing really well offensively. Like, I don't know if he's going to get the same amount of ice time here, because he is on the power play unit and also on the penalty kill, so he might. Hopefully he could produce like he was doing in Vancouver, because it seems like the Canucks were struggling. So let's go to February the 1st, see how we simulate with our new acquisition. No thank you, I don't want to trade a prospect for 3rd and 4th. Game against San Jose, one of the Pacific teams, we lose 5-1. Not a good start. I don't know why this team has been struggling so much. We've lost 4 games in a row. Game against Chicago, 5-4 overtime win, so that's a good offensive game, but not a good defensive one. And game against the St. Louis Blues, and then we got 2 more games this month. 4-3 loss. God damn, this team keeps losing. We're still in that wildcard spot, which is good, but we are not a very consistent team. Like the last few years, it's been kind of back and forth. So we got a trade alert, and the Montreal Canadiens have acquired a first and Meach for Numelin and Roach. Okay. So Montreal and Quebec making a deal. No, I'm not trading Patrick. Patrick is too good of a defensive prospect for us. We win 6-4 over Quebec and lose 2-1 to Finland, and we're still in that wildcard spot, but we have a really weird record. 22-22, 5-1, and we're 4-6 in our last 10. So we are 4 points above the Moose, who are out of the playoffs, and 4 points above the Blackhawks. So our division has gotten back into it because we've lost a lot of games, which is not good. How is Dallas Drake playing since he's been acquired? Like, he's point per game this season, but how much with us so far? 5 points in 5 games. And he's been a +4, so he's been a pretty good acquisition. I wasn't expecting him to be that good of an acquisition. Like, when I was getting to offer that trade for him, I was like, I don't feel like he's going to be putting up that much points, but he's been good. Hopefully this team could turn it around before the deadline, because or else I might have to make some more deals to kind of get this team suited up for a playoff team. Because Berlissa is a champion, but we haven't been simulating like one. So let's go right to the trade deadline, and then we will see all the trades around the league, and then we might make some trades of our own if we want to. I don't know for sure. We'll check the trading block just in case, but there might not be nothing available. 6-5 OT loss to Buffalo. Goddamn, guys, play defense. We might need to upgrade that goalie spot. And game against Calgary, I might upgrade that goalie spot, like that backup spot. Yeah, I think I'm going to. There's a trade, a 1st, a 2nd, and VNO to Toronto for Yolonen, Knights, and 3rd and a 6th. And yeah, we played too bad defensively in those last 2 games. And we're getting offered Brian Leach in a 3rd for Fitzgerald and Ewan, but Leach at 1 year is not necessarily the greatest, and he doesn't fit our systems. So, but we are going to trade for a backup goalie now, because this team has been really bad defensively, and that's probably what's bringing us down. Either that or we find a really good defenseman that matches our system. We need to make a deal. Emmerich at 1 year left. How good is this guy? -19, but he's got 19 points. Does fit our first pairing, but I don't think he's our first pairing defenseman for us. There is some defensive players. Slaney. How's Slaney been? -7. I like Mara at the +/-, but we also need maybe a backup, like I was saying, a better backup. Curtis Joseph at 1 year still. He's actually been really good as a backup. I don't know if that would work really for our system though, but he's been really good this season. Like 6-2 with a 937. It could be the Edmonton defense though, because he did struggle in like Finland and stuff. So yeah, he probably wouldn't be a good acquisition. Not even really much of an upgrade, I guess. But is there still that Ottawa goalie, and is there any other good goalies available? I'm still debating about Bill Holder because he's not a bad overall, and he does fit our top 4 and power play unit. But I would have to get rid of somebody else on the defensive pairing. I'll think about Bill Holder. Let's just check goalie-wise first. Karpotsev's 2 years. Sokolov, yeah, Sokolov's still there, and he is not doing as good as he was earlier in the year. He is 8-2. It could be because he's playing with the Sens, though. Yeah, I think our main concern right now is our defense. Our offense has been good, but it's just that defense is letting in way too much goals. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any good defenseman available. Mario Lemieux is available. He's dropping off, but he is putting up a lot of points. That would help us out offensively, and he has how much trade value? A decent amount of trade value. Imagine bringing in Mario Lemieux for like a 4th line role. Does he fit our system at all? He fits all 4 lines. Okay, we're going to try and trade for maybe Mario Lemieux, and then we're also going to try and trade for a goalie. We're going to make a little bit too much changes maybe this year, but we want to get Mario Lemieux to the playoffs again when he was with Pittsburgh. So we have to give up a roster player in a sense, I think. Which in this case, we could give up Herdina, who's been depth for us. But our 4th line, I don't know if we should trade for Lemieux. What does Russia want? They want picks. I could give them like a 3rd round pick for Lemieux. That's not enough either. They'd want like a 2nd for Mario Lemieux. Yeah, I don't even know if it's worth it at this. I mean, he puts up a lot of points, but doesn't fit our power play unit, so we're not going to do that. Oh, it was the Canucks that had Mario Lemieux. Okay, so we're going to go back to the Sens, though, and trade for a backup goalie because the rest of these deals don't make much sense for us. So we will take Sokolov, who's their backup, and what do they want in return? We have to give them a goalie, so we're going to give them Simic. And that is already enough trade value, but they probably won't do that. And we'll give them... We'll throw in a 4th rounder from the Florida Panthers. And that should easily do it. Actually, we'll throw in a 7th just to see if that does anything. Because they do want 7th round picks. So the Simic in a 7th for Sokolov is accepted. So there's a little upgrade. Sad to see Simic go because we drafted him. But our team has been really weak defensively. And hopefully this new backup could help us play better. Because he was playing pretty good in Ottawa. Now it could be, like I said, their defense that's helping him out. But he was playing pretty good as a backup. Gives us a bit of an overall upgrade. Okay, so let's sim the rest of this month and check out the trades around the league. And then we'll continue simulating until we're done the season, because this episode's probably going to be pretty long, just because I made 2 trades already. Normally I don't make much trades in an episode. So let's go to the trade deadline, see if we could win some games now with Sokolov as our backup. Hopefully that's what we needed. There's another trade, a 1st and a 2nd for Darius Kasparaitis, Lilia, and a 4th. Okay. So Kasparaitis headed to Quebec. I think he actually played for Colorado at one point for like a brief bit. We do beat the Mighty Ducks, and there's another trade, a 1st in Burns for Kovalenko and Lindsay. Game against Tampa Bay. I think that was a loss. Forsstrom and Bartkowski for Vorobiev and Holder. So Vorobiev, who we dropped off on waivers, got claimed and then traded. We do actually beat Tampa Bay 2-1. So since acquiring Silva, whatever his name is, the Russian dude, we are 2-0. But hopefully Dallas Drake also just helps us get into a playoff mode. And New Jersey's fired their coach, okay. We do win 4-0 over the Caps. We lose 8-2 though to Florida. Yeah, this team's really inconsistent. We win a couple of games and then we just get blown out of the water like that. Game against Pittsburgh is a 3-3 tie, which I will take. There's another trade, so the Islanders acquire a second, Craig, and a fourth for Pasternak, who's like an 85 starter goalie, and at fifth. So that's kind of a weird deal for the Islanders, but I think they had another good goalie already, so it makes sense for them to move him out. And there's another trade, Boganecki for Reynolds, a third and a fourth. Okay. Game against Germany, who's been doing pretty well this season. We win in overtime. Oh boy, we're getting offered Sergei Zubov, future Dallas Star at this point, with a third and a fourth for Fitzgerald, Ward, Callahan, and a second. That's way too much to give up for Zubov, because Fitzgerald's a solid prospect at the moment. Ward's a solid prospect, but he is kind of getting older. Callahan, not so much. In a second, yeah, that's too much to give up for Zubov. Like, if Zubov has 1 year left and he's playing next season, maybe I'll bring him in. No thank you. Game against Washington again for the second time in a week, and we beat them 5-2. So we've been playing some good hockey as of late, but we are still trying to hold on to that last playoff spot. First, Haskins in a third to Calgary for Shantz and Slaney. And then Zelepukin gets dealt with a third to Czech Republic for 2 seconds and Sinzinger. Game against Germany coming up for the second time as well in a week. Kind of a weird schedule. Geez, there's a lot of trades. Sell Vanov in a fifth for Leduc in a second. I might not actually go through all the deals because this episode's running way too long at this point. But then again, I do have to actually make some cuts. But there's a nice win over Germany. Yeah, we're playing good now. I don't know if it's the new addition of the new backup, but we've been winning some games as of lately. Heath Jones and Ulanov for Ward in a fourth. Now, that's not a bad offer either, but I don't really have the roster space for these guys. Like, I'd have to, like, send down, like, some 78 overall players like Corson, for example, who's depth. And Sergei Zubov gets dealt to the Hartford Whalers with a third for B. Wild, whoever that is, F. Barry, and Oliver. So, like, 3 prospects. Interesting. Hartford has been really good this season, I think, so getting Zubov is a big win for them as well. Okay, so we're 29, 25, 6-2 here at the deadline, which has us in the third playoff spot, which is good. The Red Wings have just fallen out. But yeah, we still got to watch out for not really any teams in the Pacific. The Pacific dropped off a lot, but we got to watch out for the Red Wings, especially, and the Jets, and then maybe the Maple Leafs. Yeah. Let's just take a quick look at how our players have been playing. We're not going to look at all the trades around the league, even though you guys probably would like to see that. It's just because this episode's already like at probably around 20 minutes, and I still have to get the season simulated and check who we're going up against in the first round and all that if we make the playoffs. So Dallas Drake, up to 12 points in 17 games and a +4, 26 penalty minutes. He's been pretty good. As for our acquisition in terms of goaltending, Sokolov is 1-1 with an 827 and a 496. So I guess he hasn't helped us really at all because he just really struggled. But Nabokov has been picking up his pace a bit. Okay. Well, as long as the team starts winning games, but it just sucks that we had to trade away Simic, and now bringing in Sovilov has helped us out a bit. Okay, so let's get the rest of the season simulated. We're not going to look at the trades, and hopefully this team is good enough to make the playoffs. Because if we don't, we might miss the playoffs for the second straight year. So we're facing the Jets here, which is kind of a big game. Let's see if we could win it, and we do 4-3. Nice. Okay, so let's go all the way to... Let's go right to the 18th, because then that gives us still time to maybe adjust our lines if we're losing games. We beat the Blackhawks 5-2 and the Sabres 4-1, so this team is turning it around in the last few months. Loss against the Devils, which we should have won, and a loss against the Bruins. Of course, I say we're turning it around and we lose 3 straight games, but then we win 1, and we get a tie. Game against Russia is a win as well. Okay, so we're at 75 points, not too bad. Let's go these last 3 games of this week. Game against the Canucks is a win. Game against the Flames is a win as well. And the Flyers have fired their head coach. And we tie with the Sharks, okay? Yeah, we must be getting close to clinching. Okay, let's get these 3 games done this week. Chicago, St. Louis, and Ottawa. We beat Chicago 7-1. Losing overtime to St. Louis, and game against the Sens. And Soleil has been injured. At least it's not until the playoffs would already start by then, I think. Or I start afterwards. So go replace player. And it's a 3-3 tie. So we have not clinched a playoff spot yet, but we are getting close to it. Game against Tampa Bay to end this month. Come on, boys. And Jeff Sanderson's been injured now. Jeez. But we lose 5-2. Yeah, these injuries that we're having right now might cost us the playoffs potentially. We're 3 points above the Red Wings. We might be close to clinching. Let's get these last few games done. Hopefully we can beat Detroit and Winnipeg so we could clinch. Okay, let's see what we can do. Can we win these 2 games? And another injury. What is these injuries right at the end of the season? We're going to have to call somebody up because Martinson gets injured. Damn, that's 3 injuries. So I guess we'll call up McCauley, since he's the best depth option available. But geez, this team all of a sudden just took a really bad turn. We were winning games, and then all of a sudden we've suffered 3 injuries in a span of like 3 games. So McCauley will go in. He actually fits pretty well there. And Corson's playing defense. God damn it. Yikes. I guess that's the best option available. And this one's the best option available. Let's go with that. But yeah, so Corson's going to be playing defense for the last few games of the season, because we don't have a depth defenseman up here. And we lose to the Jets, but we win against the... Yeah, we clinched the playoff spot. Okay, that's good. I just want to get this rest of the season done with, because we have had so much injury problems lately. So Ruslan Soleil is back, which is good. Gives us our defenseman we need, because Corson can't play defense. I don't even know why we don't have a depth defender up here. So there you go, Soleil back in, and the car down. Game against Germany coming up, and we win or lose in overtime. Jeff Sanderson's back, which is good because Herdina's, well, not really much of a top liner. So we'll put him in here on this right wing. There you go. And last game of the year is an 8-3 loss. So we somehow just barely made the playoffs with a 38-31 9-4 record, but we made the playoffs, so that's good. Because last year we missed for only the first time, and our top line looks like it did really well. Okay, let's take a look at player stats and team stats around the league, and then see who we're up against in the first round. And then hopefully that is all we need to do, because this episode is literally probably like 25 minutes already. Okay, so center-wise, Trevor Wong's been really good the last few seasons. 88 points in 82 games. Lundell actually had a really good year, 66 points. And yeah, he definitely is picking it up. That's his best season yet of his career. He had a really good second half of the year since we acquired Corson. Medano, 54 points, 35 goals, but only 19 assists. Franzen had 31 points, pretty good, but a -16. Martinson had 23 points. McCauley had 1 assist in 2 games, and Herdina had no points in 3 games. As for left wingers, Sador had 70 points. He's been pretty good since we brought him over. Sanderson, 61 points. Drake, 37. That's Keith Drake. Wells, 19 points. And Corson, 13 points in 49 games. But he played 3 with us, and he was a -4 because he was playing defense. As for right wingers, Dallas Drake, 75 points this season. And 29 and 37 for us, so he helped us out a lot. And a +9, so really good acquisition there. Clancy, 34 points, and Ewan, 20 points. As for defensemen, Oslunch had 44 points, so a pretty good signing, I think. Soleil, 26 points. Hatcher, 26 points. Lindback, 25 points. Nakar, 14, and Haynes had 7. And our goaltending, Nabokov had a really good season. This is his best season by far, I think. And Sokolov, how did he do with us? He was okay. He got wins. His save percentage and goals against isn't the greatest, but I'll take it. And then let's just take a quick look at who led the league, even though this episode is going to be really long. So Martin Straka led the league with 116 points, playing with Yager. And who's the other one he played with? Probably someone up there. Yager and... Okay, never mind. But him and Yager went off this season. So the Pens probably had the best offense. Leader in goals was Yager with 65 goals this year. Best plus minus was Victor Hidefield, okay. Best defensive player for points was Niedermeyer with 65, him and Zubov. How much did Zubov put up with Hartford? 17 and 20. Jeez. Yeah, he would have been a great acquisition, but he didn't really fit our team, I don't think. Leach had 63 points, Lidstrom 61, okay. And best goalie this season for wins was Jocelyn Thibault. Okay, best shutouts, J.S. Jaguar is 6. Best save percentage by a starter was Guy Bear. And Nikolai Hebby-Bullen probably. And then best goals against by a starter was Roman Turek. Best rookie this season for points was Lou Hivara and Garlock, Bowman, and Hawley. Okay. So now let's take a look at the team stats, and then we'll take a look at who we're up against in the first round, because we are running short for time. Even though we technically could just talk for like an hour or whatever, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so in terms of the standings, where did we finish? Probably just barely in a playoff spot, right? Yeah, we finished with the 17th best record in the league. Not very good. Goals for per game, yeah, we're kind of struggling, probably around the middle. Goals against per game, where are we? No, we were actually one of the best defensive teams in the league, top 10. So that's actually not too bad. I guess we trended in the right direction. Power play percentage, our power play was one of the worst. Yikes, we're not looking that good. And our penalty kill was probably one of the worst, yep. So we were only good defensively, but we struggled on our special teams and our offense. And we had 5 shorthanded goals this season, which was kind of around the middle as well. Okay, now let's take a look at who we're going up against in the first round, even though we are looking probably like the team that's going to be the cheese team potentially, because I don't think this team is a cup contending team, but you never know. Let's see who we're going up against. It's going to be after Martinson comes back from injury, which is great, because I don't necessarily want to play McCauley all the time. So put Martinson back in. There you go. And we're going to be going up against the Winnipeg Jets. So a team that was literally neck and neck with us in the standings throughout the season. We're going to be taking on a divisional opponent in them in the first round. There's the other matchups so you guys can see: Germany and Vancouver, Calgary, LA, Detroit, Edmonton, Pittsburgh and Finland, Islanders and Florida, Montreal and Ottawa, and Hartford and Buffalo. Let's take a quick look at the lines for the Winnipeg Jets, and then that'll be it for this episode. So the Winnipeg Jets have Keith Tkachuk, Victor Kozlov, and Darren Shannon. That line's been really good for point production during the regular season. They also have Dylan Genther and Nicholas Bjorkstrand, Dale Craigwell. Not a really good second line. I mean, Bjorkstrand's good, but Genther and Craigwell, eh. Third line, Savage, Rousseau, and Fowler. Okay. And then Ekman, Sullivan, and Heinonen. Yeah, Heinonen. So, overall wise, I'm not really a fan of their offense, except for their top line and Bjorkstrand, I think. Defensively, they have not a great defensive core either, so they must have a good goalie. They have Anders Eriksson and Chris Negrin, Peyton Holweg, Abel Ronick, Vince McPherson, and Dominic Martinick. Okay, so yeah, that defense is really weak by comparison to ours. It must be their goalies. No, it's not their goalies either. I don't know how this team is a good playoff team. It must be just relying on the top line or a good chemistry. They have Rizzi in net. How did Rizzi play this season? He was not too bad, but he let in a lot of goals. And Le Cavalier was not that good either. Literally came rigged from the draft to being backup. And scratched-wise, they have Jero Whitney, Dmitry Leonov, and Ben Jones. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Dallas Stars franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the first round of the playoffs, where we face the Winnipeg Jets, and hopefully we can get to the second round, because I think we have the upside, even though our team simulated worse than theirs. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.